Hey guys, Callum here. This is just a quick training on how to use MyFitnessPal, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. Firstly, I'm going to show you how to add a meal from scratch, and then secondly, I'm going to show you how to add that meal and save it so it's easier to use next time that you come to having that meal. Because the research shows that we eat between 20 and 30 foods, and the same 20 or 30 foods. So we want to make our life as easy as possible by saving as many things as we can into the MyFitnessPal database. Okay, so I'm just going to show you something that I had for my breakfast this morning. So I'm going to go to diary, I'm going to go to add food, and I'm going to type in, you can either scan the barcode or you can weigh the food. For today's example, I'm not going to scan the barcode or weigh the food because if I show you myself doing that, it interrupts the voice on this camera, so you won't be able to hear me. So I'm just going to type in awesome supplements, vegan, protein, chocolate caramel. And in this case, it recognizes that I've already had that. You see the top option, but I'm just going to show you how to type it in from scratch as if it's the first time you've ever eaten it. So awesome supplement. I'm going to search it. And I'm going to look for awesome supplements, chocolate salted caramel. And I'm going to add this one here that says 30 grams, awesome supplement. I'm going to add it here. I'm going to click it. And I know that I have 2 scoops, which is 60 grams. So I'm going to change that to 2. Once I've done that, I'm going to tick it. Once I've done that, I'm going to go back. My breakfast is chocolate caramel, 218 calories. And that's without the milk. So now I need to add the milk. And I know that normally I'll use a barcode scanner, but today I'm not because of the video. I use lactose free. And it's the farm day I want. And it's roughly around 300 ml that I have, which is 200 as a standard size, but I've added 1.5 of that, okay? So 200 ml, but I've added 1.5 of that. I'm now going to tick it. And then I'm going to go back. Now that's my protein shake, 311 calories. Once I've done that, I'm going to go to the 3 little dots in the bottom corner here. And I'm going to save as meal. And nice and easy. I have this shake all of the time and I make it exactly the same. So I'm just going to save it as Callum Shake. Done. Now, if I go to tomorrow and I wake up and have the same protein shake in the same way that I always make it. So if you always make something in the same way, using the same ingredients, save it as a meal, okay? It makes things a lot quicker and easier. Now I've added that as a meal. So I'm just going to go to add food, my meals, Callum Shake. Bam, done. Literally takes 5 seconds now. So track things accurately once. Track it 100% accurately by using digital scales and the barcode scanner. Save it as a meal and then you never have to do it again. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I'm going to track a lunch that I would make. And in this case, I'm going to use spaghetti bolognese. And this is what I think the easiest way to do it with is, okay, and is to track the meal as a whole. So let's say that you're cooking for a family of 4, okay? What I would do is I would track the meal as a whole, which means I would record everything in the entirety of calories. Then I would divide that portion into 4s. And I'm going to show you what I mean by this. So lunch, add food, Tesco's spaghetti. Okay, Tesco's spaghetti pasta. And that is 270 calories. I'm going to add that. Then I'm going to go back. I'm going to now change that amount to 4 portions because each person will have 75 grams, for example, if I'm making it for a family of 4. And then I'm going to add that to there. So that's 400, that's 1,080 calories. Don't worry, that seems like a lot, but that's 4 portions, don't forget. After, when you save it as a meal, I'm then going to teach you how to reduce that amount you had. So I'm going to add food. I'm going to use Tesco's mince. Tesco's mince. Beef mince, Tesco's mince, 5%, 100 grams. I'm going to go back and I'm going to change that to 500 grams. So I'm going to change the servings to 5 times. If it's just you having the meal, you obviously don't have to do 4 times. But most times we don't cook for just one person. And something that I recommend is to batch cook. So if you're making spaghetti bolognese or chili or a curry, never cook it for just one person. Cook it for 3 or 4 and then freeze the rest, and it's going to save you a lot of time. That's why it's best to record your food like this as a whole, as a big amount that you're cooking. And then the next time you put it into MyFitnessPal, you can just reduce the amount of the meal you've had, which I'm going to show you how to do in just a minute when I finish this. Once you've done this, we're going to use Lloyd Grossman sauce. So Lloyd Grossman sauce. Okay, Lloyd Grossman bolognese sauce. And we're going to add that. 100 grams. And I'm just going to look at the amount. So a whole jar, which would feed a family of 4, is 660 grams. So I'm going to times this by 6.5, or actually 6 and 5/8. That would get us to the right amount of calories. Okay, so far we've got the spaghetti, we've got the beef mince, and we've got the bolognese sauce. I would fry off the onion that I'm going to use in olive oil, so Tesco olive oil. Olive oil has to be added. The reason why it has to be added, because you'll see the top one from Tesco's is 135 calories per tablespoon. So really, really calorie dense, which means it must be added. Once you've added that, press back, and I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. So I'm going to change that amount to 2, and then I'm going to save. And then I'm going to use a Tesco onion. Tesco large onion, 100 grams. A large onion is probably slightly more than 100 grams, so I'm going to do 2 is probably closer to 200, probably 150 grams, I'd imagine, so 1.5. Again, you'd normally weigh this on your digital scale to see exactly what it is, and then scan the barcode. So it's weighing first, barcode second, and then I'm going to use some lazy garlic. Very lazy garlic, 100 grams, 1 teaspoon, which is, I'm going to use half a teaspoon. And then finally, I'm going to use some tomato puree. Tomato puree, Tesco. That didn't come up. When obviously you scan it, it will come up. Tomato paste. From Tesco. Okay, there we go, 100 grams tomato paste. I'm going to add that. And then finally, if you add grated cheese, you're going to weigh the grated cheese, then you're going to scan it. I would use Cathedral cheddar. And I'd probably have 40 grams, so I'm going to add that. I would add the cheese that I'm going to have for the whole family. So let's say it's 200 grams. So let's say it's 150 grams. That's for the whole family. Okay, now you can see that everything's been added on my spaghetti bolognese. If you obviously make it differently, you add it the way that you make it. That is 3,142 calories. I'm going to save that as a meal. Spag bowl times 4 portions. Done. Meal created. Dismiss. Now, I can do a couple of things now. I'm going to go to tomorrow to show you what to do. So let's say you have it for lunch tomorrow. You're going to add meal. Spag bowl times 4 portion. You're going to add. But you're going to change the serving. Because you're having it just you, see how you're just going to do a quarter of amount. So you then have a 785 calorie spag bowl with cheese, which is probably about the right amount. Like I've just tracked that without doing a barcode scanner, but that's probably pretty accurate within around 10 to 15%. Tick that. That's your lunch added. And then if you want to delete what you've added the day before, you just go and delete everything in here and then do the same thing that I just showed you, which is adding your lunch. and then changing the amount. So delete all of these. Okay, so it's a little bit laborious to start with. It takes a little bit of time. But once you've done that, and you've done it accurately by using digital scales and the barcode scanner, and you've done a large amount of food because we want to try and bulk cook food because it makes it easier for you, and then you just look at the portion you had by dividing the amount, using a little bit of simple maths, you'll see here that the spag bowl was 785 calories. So that's the kind of approach that we want to have when we're recording food. The first rule is to track food by using digital scales and barcode scanner. The second rule is, which I'm going to show you now. Let's say that you're having a takeaway or going out for dinner and you don't know what it is you're having. The rule that I like to use is to over-track and to use a little bit of common sense. And the way I'm going to show you this is by using a Chinese dinner as an example. So Chinese, if you have a good amount of Chinese, like chicken balls, chow mein, rice, prawn crackers, maybe some noodles or some sweet and sour chicken, it's going to be at least 1,000 calories, okay? At least, probably closer to 1,500 calories. Because you have to remember, the restaurant's job or the takeaway's job is one thing. To make that food as delicious as possible, they do not care about calories. So they do not care about calories. So they add as much sugar, flavorings, butter, oil to make it as delicious as possible. So this is what I would do, is I would type in Chinese takeaway. Once you've typed that in, you can choose which type of Chinese takeaway that you've had. So for example, I'm going to click on this takeaway meal, which is 1,000 calories, which is one plate. And because this hasn't got macronutrients added, so you can see that it's got 0 carbs, 0 fat, 0 protein, I'm not going to use that because it's not going to be very accurate. But I'm going to use a Tesco's example. Tesco. And again, it doesn't really come up with something that I like. So I'm going to individually choose the dishes that I want. So chicken, balls, Chinese. Okay, chicken ball, one piece, 145 calories. I know that I'm going to have 2, so I would add that. Okay. Now I'm going to type in egg fried rice, and I'm going to choose one that's pretty high. Fried rice with probably about 300 calories. This third one down here, that's probably pretty accurate. I'm going to add that. Then I'm going to type in sweet and sour chicken. Sweet and sour chicken. Okay, again, probably around the 400 calorie mark, which is this 5th one down here, innovation. 400 calories added. Do you see how I've added 3 dishes, 2 chicken balls, some rice and some sweet and sour chicken, and it's already at 1,000 calories. So when we're tracking takeaways and such things, we want to make sure that we are tracking it and over tracking, because if I look at chicken balls, if I type in here, add food, chicken ball, this top one, breaded chicken ball, 42 calories, the 4th one down. There's no way in a million years a chicken ball is 40 calories. It's bread, it's batter, and it's deep fried. It's at least 130 calories. So see how we want to over track to make sure that we are being as accurate as possible. So guys, that's just a quick lesson on a couple of ways how to track. Firstly, we looked at tracking breakfast. Then we looked at adding meals as a bulk and saving it as a meal. And then we looked at tracking takeaways by over tracking food to make sure it's accurate. Hope this helps.